Why are you recording?
Because you never know.
Okay.
I think a big part is like having, because like when I first started the podcast and I got like 20 episodes in, 30 episodes in, 40 and 50, people like actually noticed like, oh, you're like doing this. It's not just something you're going to do. And then like, you know.
Right. Yeah, I think the thing for me is I have to get the first one out the door and then I have to see how the rest are going to play out. Because I have ideas for the future. It's just, for me, if I do go with the number scheme, I'm thinking of how am I going to get to these certain numbers. So if I went one a week is going to drag out and be, I don't know the math on that, but so many episodes per year.
52.
Perfect. But I was thinking, well, if I go one a week, I won't be able to reach the time period that I want to reach. And current events happen so fast nowadays that I would probably have to put out 2 a week. So yeah. I don't know.
One thing that I like about Joe's podcast is how he like, not that I've noticed, maybe he does have a release like schedule.
I don't know if he does or doesn't.
That's what I'm saying.
I think it's Wednesday, but I don't know.
But he puts out like multiple per week usually, but it's not on the same days, which is kind of good and kind of bad. But
well, it's weird. The thing with him is, and that's what he's the only podcast that I think does this that I know of, but it'll be like a Wednesday and he'll release like 3.
Yeah.
And the thing about the most recent one with Theo was he kept talking about Theo in other podcasts, but he hadn't released a Theo episode, and then the Theo episode came out. So it was like we knew it was coming, but
yeah,
he hadn't released it. So it was a surprise.
Was the one right before him Cameron Haynes?
Yeah, Cam Haynes.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, Cam Haynes is a crazy man. Between him and David Goggins, I don't know who could be the baddest man on earth.
I didn't realize he actually like did all the endurance stuff. I knew he like trained.
Well, he has a day job.
Yeah.
I don't know what he does for a day job, but he has a day job and then he does all this stuff on the side. So his son also just broke David Goggins' pull-up record, I believe. So
dang.
Yeah, right?
I was just listening to David Goggins talk about that pull-up record.
Yeah, I haven't gotten into David Goggins' book yet, but I do want to start reading it. If I ever need motivation, I'll usually just turn on his hour-long YouTube video and let him scream at me about who's going to carry the boats and the logs. And then he talks about life as wringing out the rags. So,
yeah. Actually, I mean, I knew who he was for quite a while, but I never really looked into his story until recently.
Yeah, a crazy thing about Goggins is he posted something recently on Instagram of his leg, and he had something done to it. I haven't gone back and looked at it, but it was like his leg had like an indentation, and I don't know if it was caused from the amount of activities he does or what, but obviously it's cool to do all those things, but at the same time it wears down your body.
Yeah.
So I think he also has to like drain his knees out ever so often or something like that because
he talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah, he builds so much fluid on them. So
yeah, I feel like David Goggins this morning. I was doing my Peloton. I got off, and then I went to do a workout, and I felt the fatigue right on my knee, like not my knee, but the backside.
Yeah,
where my hammies like insert, and
oh yeah.
I mean, I couldn't.
You need to stretch.
Yeah, he says stretching's basically the key to his success. But like, it's so weird because I could do like pretty much any squatting motion. I just couldn't do like a deadlift motion unless, I mean, one-legged I could, but that was it.
Yeah, I actually stopped running a little bit more just to save my knees. But it's like anytime I wear a different type of shoe, I can feel it in my knees. So if I wear a Chelsea boot with a higher heel, I can feel it in my knees when I'm walking. And then if I throw on my Hokas to go to the gym, it's like I'm walking on clouds. I love Hokas.
Yeah, that's how I feel with my running shoes. I used to wear pretty much, I just never wore them after my marathon, and then I just got them back out, and
yeah,
amazing.
I know. I think they could save us in the long run, honestly, because the way my knees are going, I'm getting a little concerned, which I do need to take the precautions and stretch and ice and get some oxygen pants, but those are a little out of my price range, so I'm not going to do that just yet.
CR12.
Yeah. And one of those massage guns. I really want one of those. Maybe Santa Claus will bring me one.
Rogie Claus. The funniest thing. Oh, man. Nah, I want to try doing like an ice bath, though.
Yeah, the ice bath in the sauna.
Yeah.
I want to get a sauna, but I don't have anywhere to put it, and I don't think it would fit on my apartment balcony. But Joe's been experimenting with the sauna and the ice bath and going back and forth. Yes, he posted a photo this morning and a big long caption about you'll never know what it feels like until you do it, which I've tried ice bath in the past, but I'm not a man of the cold, but I love saunas. So I'd like to do the little alternation, maybe a little outdoor plunge, get in the sauna and then go dive in the lake or something, like a Hicks and Gracie in the stream.
We're doing some Wim Hof.
Yeah, that man's wild. I haven't looked too much into him, but I know of him, and he's a wild man.
This is true. But
the Peloton, what I did was, obviously, I got my parents a Peloton, and I was going to get myself a Peloton, but I haven't yet. But I was going to Cycle Bar there for a little bit, and that was like an experience. Riding a bike to a beat is way harder than you think it is, especially when there's like 30 girls around you and they're just getting it.
Yeah, it's weird. I can't imagine doing it like around other people because...
Well, yeah, and my foot popped out first 5 seconds and I couldn't get it back in the clip. I had to like raise my hand and the instructor had to get off her bike and come help. It was a little embarrassing, but...
Dude, my clips are so tight, I promise.
Yeah.
These things are probably a little bit too tight. I feel like... Actually, me and Kyle were talking about today, like, the Bowflex just came out with the bike that can, like, lean and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like... That's one of my biggest fears is being on the Peloton and like falling and like leaning over and falling, the bike falling on me. Cause like I wouldn't, obviously I'm clipped in, like I can't come out of it and the bike would just like crush me. It doesn't look heavy at all, but it's so heavy.
I'm not sure, but I think that's why like the Tour de France and whenever they have those wrecks, that's why they're so bad because they can't unclip.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but...
Like when we were kids, we can just jump off the back whenever.
Go over the handlebars. I remember the last time I went over the handlebars. That was bad. But yeah, what I did do, I bought, I got the free trial of Apple Fitness, and it actually would have renewed very soon, but I canceled it. But they have like those classes on there. And just you can clip your phone to a bike or something and kind of do the same concept, but not really.
That makes sense. That Peloton has some outdoor stuff, like outdoor running and stuff, but I don't really get it because, I mean, on the Peloton, it's like you're connected to the bike and it knows when you're doing what you're doing.
Right.
I feel like the running would have to be very, user trust.
Yeah. I don't know how all of that works, but at the same time, I feel like it's something that I need to keep me motivated because otherwise I can run on a treadmill and just kind of get in the zone, but then I kind of fall out of the zone pretty quickly.
I feel like whenever I get in the zone running, I'd get more sleepy. Like if I'm on a treadmill, I don't know why. I think it's just like, whoa, that was weird. Did you hear that?
What was it?
It was like a sound.
I think you've been drinking too much Lions, man.
Dude, I need to get back on that for the goodness. I think I like ran out like 2 or 3 months ago.
I've actually been taking creatine religiously.
I've been back on it too.
Well, I got back on it and then I kind of fell off of it. I was on a very strict diet, but it lasted about a week and I was taking creatine. But the thing about me is I can never take creatine consistently, but I can drink water consistently. So when I started taking creatine consistently, I couldn't drink water consistently, which the two play a part in each other. So I should probably, balance that out.
Sure. Yeah. I've been on, definitely back on the supplements, a little bit of the carb supplement with the first form, and the BCAAs and the creatine.
BCAAs, do you like those?
They're all right. I mean, I can see the value.
I mean,
them.
there's a, everybody says they either do something or they don't.
I see the value in them from a scientific perspective. Now, whether I need them or not, I don't know. With the amount of protein I do get.
Well, you don't know. You don't really need anything. You just have to eat food. Supplements are supplements.
This is true, but at the same time, it's good. It's good for a busy lifestyle.
It is. It's very good on the go. That's the thing that I kind of did was I went to Costco and got a whole bunch of food and actually got like the little containers for like $7 for like 25 containers or something like that, and pre-cooked all the meals, which is so easy with an air fryer these days. Like if we had an air fryer when we were a little bit younger, like college days, cooking would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Like you can cook anything in an air fryer. But yeah, just planning out the meals and trying to eat 2 to 3 times, or not 2, but 3 to 4 times a day, has really been pretty beneficial. I don't feel bloated from, excess food that I would have eaten otherwise. And the body's felt better, but now that I've kind of transitioned out of it, I can definitely tell the difference.
Yeah. The one thing I've been struggling with is I wanted to start tracking again, tracking my macros.
I've never been able to do that. I think it boils. I've watched tons of videos on it. I think it just boils down to me being ignorant and not wanting to do the math, because that's just not me. But
see, I don't track it from the perspective of like measuring my food, but I'll track it from like my FitnessPal and be like, I had this much. I mean, I know it's not exact, but that's how I kind of.
Well, what I try to do with my FitnessPal is put it in the day before and say, here's what I'm going to eat. And if I eat these foods, then I'll accomplish this goal.
That's a good idea.
But yeah, it's like pre-planning, I guess to say. But at the same time, then I don't eat those foods the next day. So I can prepare all I want. I just can't do it.
Damn.
Yeah, it's rough. I don't know what's wrong with me.
See, I'm the opposite. I'll eat it and then I won't track it, which is, God, I hate it.
At least you're getting it in.
That's true.
The thing about me is I'll plan it out, but I won't eat it, and then I won't eat it all.
See, the funny thing is, I went kind of like deep into, like recently I went deep into Peloton, like trying to get a mile goal per month, but I wasn't eating enough. So I was like losing weight. And so I was like, all right, I'll just up my calories, which has been good. I've been doing that, and I've actually been putting back the weight back on. And, but yeah, it's just like, whenever I put it into my FitnessPal and I see like the number 3,500, 4,000, whatever, for some reason, it just makes me feel like I actually ate it. I don't know. It's a weird psychological thing.
Yeah, it's all mental. I couldn't even tell you the calories that I get in a day, because sometimes I don't even eat. I go the fasting route and I don't eat, which, has proven to be okay at times.
Yes.
But
it's true.
I don't know. The thing that I've been getting into a lot lately is like deficiencies, because I hear people talk about, like the holistic people and other doctors and nutritionists just talk about things you could be deficient in. So I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about zinc and how you could be deficient in zinc, and zinc also can boost testosterone. So maybe I'm deficient in zinc. I don't know. Just for the reason of working out so much, but not being able to put on the muscle that I feel like other kids were able to put on. But then again, who knows?
Yeah, it's tricky. I'm actually, I have a thing on my Christmas list. It's like a at-home blood thing test.
Yeah.
To where you like send it off and they're like, all right, these are your levels of all this stuff.
I thought you were going to test it yourself and give you the diagnosis.
No. I wish, because I could do it all the time. But I wish, kind of like to your point, I want to see like if I'm a deficient in anything, or if I,
Yeah, I actually thought about doing that. I might get that from you, because I really want to kind of know what's deficient, what's, I don't know, too high, maybe.
Yeah, this is true. Some things could be too high.
Yeah, it's probably good to check now that we're getting into our later ages.
It's just true. I just turned 76, so.
Yeah, 76 minus 40. That's still not correct.
Minus 10 again.
Yeah, minus 10 again. But it's good to check on your body, especially when you feel like you're healthy and you feel like nothing's wrong or nothing could be better. Then you could always go in and get it checked out and say, okay, here's where I lack, or, here's something that I'm not catching.
Yeah, definitely. Especially just from like a health perspective, like, catch it early.
Yeah. Well, the thing about me is, it's like, I feel like with the fasting and with the not eating that much, I feel like I live off like the primal ages of where they didn't have the choice to eat unless they went out and killed that buffalo.
Yeah.
So
just gotta go kill the buffalo.
So you gotta go kill the buffalo or you're not gonna eat. But the thing about it is I feel like whenever I do live in this state, it's like I'm more alert, I'm more aware. If I'm working, I'm going to keep working. And then as soon as I go to lunch and I put some food in my body, I become sluggish.
Yeah. No, that's true. And a lot of research has actually shown that fasting has like helped with, and I think it's because of like carbs especially can make you really sleepy after you eat them. I can't remember if I want to say serotonin. Like that release of serotonin just makes you want to go to sleep.
Yeah. And maybe I'm not putting the right foods in my body, or maybe I'm putting the food in at the wrong time. But it's been a pattern that I've kind of seen over the past couple of years, and it's not a bad thing. But at the same time, I want my performance to be peak at all times, and I feel like I'm just kind of wasting the day if I don't be as efficient as possible, or productive in a sense. Yeah,
it's weird because like, I feel like I have physical goals I want to achieve, and you got to put time in with that. But then I got this kind of thing, like a podcast or some kind of business that you want to do, and they just kind of like counteract each other a lot of times.
Yeah, I feel like mine comes from a lot of mental exhaustion, just from going back and forth and looking at screens all day and things like that. But like mental exhaustion can wear you down so bad that it becomes physical exhaustion, and then you just kind of don't want to do anything. And I have a hard time getting into that mental state. Like, you see people that work out in the gym without headphones, and it's like, how are you working out without headphones? Or turning on a motivational video on YouTube before you go to work out because you need to get hyped up. I do that all the time. I turn on like a little Conor McGregor motivational video, and it's like it gets me motivated to go work out and try to perform. But at the same time, I've got to figure out that mental state where I can pump myself up. Yeah. And if I can't do that, then I can't go to the next level.
Yeah.
It's the burn the boats concept,
There's actually, when you talk about like not listening to music when you work out, only focusing on the workout has actually been shown to make you like more, in the long run, like more passionate, more enjoying of the actual workout itself, instead of like only going, partly, for me, I mean, it still is, but like I go like to listen to good music or good podcasts when I work out, and that's like part of the enjoyment of it.
Yeah. I went the other night and my headphone died like really early, and I was sitting there.
That's just the worst.
I was sitting there with noise canceling headphones on, but obviously they weren't on, so I could hear everything. But then I was kind of sitting there like wondering, like, people would think I'm sitting here listening to music, but I'm not. Yeah. So it was kind of awkward, but at the same time, I got a good workout in. Sometimes it's good just to hear the plates clank,
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was sitting there really awkward. I felt like people were looking at me. I felt like people knew that my headphones weren't on. Like, I feel like they have a light on them that says, like, these are not on.
Yeah.
So
it'd be funny to put like a little microphone out, like on the outside of your clothes, but where people can't necessarily see it, and then it just feeds
be mic'd up like I'm on the floor.
Feeds into your headphones, and you can like hear what people are saying.
Yeah, be mic'd up like the NBA and the NFL.
Yes. what's that dude's name? No, wait, is it a dude or a woman that did like all the NBA? Doris
Burke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always be on the sidelines.
Yeah, Doris Burke, man.
Damn.
I don't know where she's at.
On a shirt.
On a shirt. Oh, jeez. Yeah. What about the NBA, though? Have you watched any?
I've watched a little bit of the Bucks and somebody. Maybe the Knicks.
Yeah, the Bucks and the Knicks. I actually watched that game. I was on the treadmill watching that game, which I think the Bucks blew like a 20-point lead or something. The Knicks came back and won. I'm not really too sure about that, but the Knicks have been exciting this year. It's good to see D Rose back in performance.
MVP?
I doubt MVP. You know how I want to be MVP is my boy Steph Curry.
See, I was actually staying up to watch that game and I didn't.
Dude, that's the thing. Steph plays at like 10 all the time.
Yeah.
But I remember I will never forget, and it's been a TikTok trend lately, is when he hit that shot against OKC.
Oh yeah. Dude, we were talking and
we were literally texting during that game, and I was in my apartment and you were at yours, and that was the craziest game. I will never forget that when he hit that shot.
That was like out of all of the shots that he's hit, that one just stands out.
Yeah, they call it like the shot heard around the world, but I just remember watching it live and literally was like standing up on my couch like, let's go.
I think, didn't he like pull up with time?
Yeah, he pulled,
deeper than he necessarily needed to.
Technically, they should have called a timeout, I think, but Steve Kerr was like, let's run it, and Steph was like, I got this, and he just pulls up like a little past half court and just puts it. Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, if I'm a coach, I'm not calling timeout, especially with a player like Steph Curry, because he's in the flow of the game. You're going to give the defense a chance to like think about it and set up on him and all this other stuff. Like, I think playing it out with a player like that is,
just let them do their thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what I would do. I would probably let them just play it out as well. They're at the highest level, so they know what they need to do. They know who they need to get the ball to.
Yeah.
Obviously, Steph Curry, when Kevin Durant was on the team, you may get the ball to KD. Wouldn't be my choice, but I would give the ball to Steph.
Yeah. I mean, KD's definitely like a close second, but like not necessarily. I mean, he has some ability to hit that shot, but like,
well, he did hit the shot in the series.
Yeah, he hit two of those, didn't he?
Yeah, he hit two in the same spot, which give it to him. But it sounds like I'm hating on KD, which I was a huge KD fan in 2013ish.
Yeah,
whenever they were playing on OKC,
like playing the Heat and everything in the finals and all that.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of KD. I've been a huge fan of KD since Texas.
Yeah.
And I just didn't agree with his choice of going to the Warriors. I don't know. I don't really have too big looks at these big threes and big fours. The teams that are exciting to watch right now are teams like the Warriors. They've always been exciting because they actually play basketball. Like, I feel like if you go to the Warriors, you either kind of suck and you look like not that JaVale McGee sucks, but JaVale McGee was not
he got
what he
lifted up by the
was.
team.
Exactly. He was kind of on his way out, and the Warriors brought him back.
Yeah. There was another big guy like that. Bogut kind of played up
Bogut
more. There was Harrison Barnes, really.
Harrison Barnes,
max deal after that.
No, went to Sacramento, I think. Even like Iggy. Has been pretty quiet, but if Iggy hadn't came back this year, I don't think the Warriors would be where they're at. Iggy belongs with the Warriors, and that's how they're great.
Yeah.
So it's going to be exciting. I think Clay actually comes back in like a week or two.
Dang.
Yeah.
It's interesting to watch them because like they were good before they should have been kind of good.
I've been playing with Steph Curry how he plays.
That's true.
Since we were playing on PS3.
That's true. But like think about like how long it took the Bulls with Michael Jordan to kind of get good. Like in a way, Steph Curry how long were they really like the most dominant team? Like 5 or 6 years?
I think Steph and Bron were in the finals together for like 7 straight years until 2 years ago.
Was it him and LeBron, or was it just LeBron?
No, it was him and Bron. Bron was on 2 different teams because can't win them with his own. But no, it was him and Bron in there for like 7 years, I think, until Steph had to play Kawhi. It was a long time.
Yeah. But the weird thing is, like, it seems like they could still be, like, they still have the juice in them to still be, like, back at that level.
Who, LeBron?
No.
Oh, you're talking about the Warriors.
The Warriors, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, the main pieces, of course. Like, they could still be that for maybe, like, 2 or 3 years.
I think the Warriors are definitely a championship team. It's just they have all-stars because they created all-stars. That's what, like, when people say, like, you jumped on the Warriors bandwagon, not specifically to me, but to anybody else, because I've been with the Warriors since Jason Richardson. And I told people that this past week, and I was like, I've been with the Warriors since Jason Richardson, man. Like, that was the guy.
Yeah.
Dunk contest, that was the guy.
I remember that. That was crazy.
Yeah, and then I watched Steph. Davidson actually changed my high school number to 30 because of Steph Curry. And then he just ended up getting drafted to the Warriors. So I've been with the Warriors for a really long time, and it's just fun to watch them play. They actually play like basketball. Plus, to have Steve Kerr as the head coach is really fun to watch because he played with Mike and had a couple of glorious moments. But the NBA is actually really exciting. I don't really care about the big 3 teams or anything like that. Like, the Charlotte Hornets be going off. I've been waiting on LaMelo to come into the league.
You have.
And he has not disappointed. I feel like there was a lot of hate there, but LaMelo has not disappointed at all. I'm trying to think of some other teams that I've seen that are young and fun to watch. The Bulls. Lonzo going to the Bulls.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they've got Caruso, Zach LaVine.
Yeah.
Those 3 can just run. Which LeVar wasn't wrong, though. He said if you gave Lonzo somebody to run with, they would make it happen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't know, though. Like, it just seems like the NBA went from, like, really, like, powerful when the Warriors were really good to kind of a step back, like, the last year, 2 years.
Yeah, they kind of stopped calling the James Harden foul. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, I think that's really good.
Yeah, no, definitely. They took that away, which is good for the game. I don't know if anybody liked to watch that. I didn't like to watch that. But it's just like when Joker got in a fight the other night with that Morris brother. I don't know if you saw that, but Morris came up and kind of hit him. Mm-mm. And then he turned his back and Joker went after him and put him down on the floor. But it's just kind of like, if you go back and you watch the old NBA, like any documentary on Michael or anybody like that, then you see how physical it was. Every time Michael went to the rim, he was getting knocked out. Yeah. Like, he was getting beaten up. And now it's like, oh, you dribble, you lean into the player, and you shoot the ball, and you get the foul, and you go to the line.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that they're kind of getting back into that. I wish they would let it go a little more aggressive, I guess to say. But at the same time, you know, it's not my call.
Moving in a good direction, though.
Yeah, that's good direction. Getting back to the old days.
Yes, it's funny. I can't remember where I heard it. It might have been actually on the Bulls documentary on the Dream. Was it
Last Dance?
Last Dance.
Yeah,
where they were saying like, "Oh, you're a good player, but like you're not 6'10" or above, so like you're not even going to be like a difference maker in the league."
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Steph changed the game with the 3-ball. I really give credit to Steph Curry when it comes to changing the game because, I mean, before him, Reggie Miller was obviously the greatest shooter.
Yeah.
Obviously. But now Steph has obviously shown what he has shown, and he is 100% the greatest shooter of all time. I'll give it to Reggie, but Steph is definitely the best. No doubt. Hands down.
And watching him play, too, he makes it feel like he's more than just the greatest shooter, though. Like, sometimes, especially back when they were just like absolutely destroying teams, it just felt like, I mean, I never watched Michael Jordan in his prime, but it just felt like that kind of level of.
Well, he was doing the thing about Jordan, which I have criticism about LeBron or really anybody that wears street clothes to the game and sits out and takes their, what's the time period that they take? Overload or
load management.
Load management. Yeah. The thing about Jordan, if you watch a documentary or any of the documentaries, he talks about how he would say or see there's one fan coming to that game that's come to see Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Think about if Michael Jordan took load management. That fan came to that one game, spent all of their money to see Michael Jordan play, and he's sitting on the sideline.
Yeah.
Michael didn't let that happen. So to see these guys, you know, sitting on the sidelines every other game or something like that, I think there's been like a running joke about Anthony Davis or somebody sitting in their street clothes, but like, I guess I get it from a certain standpoint, but at the same time, that's your job. People are coming to watch you play. Go out there and do it.
Yeah. It'd make more sense to me to play like 65 games and then you play every game and not sit out.
Right.
You know, like length of schedule maybe should be changed. If you can't go to work every day, like,
yeah,
you know, like, I don't know.
What are you going to do?
Really weird. It's like, you know, call your boss up tomorrow and be like, I need some load management.
Yeah. There's a lot of days I need load management, but I don't take it.
Then you just got to go freaking load up and manage it.
Facts. Yeah, it's an interesting time. I haven't really gotten into all the football drama. I don't really watch football too much, but I know there's a couple things going on there.
Apparently Rogers got in trouble for acting like he got the vaccine.
He said he was immunized.
That's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Hey, he said he gets all his medical information from Joe Rogan. I do too. Just kidding. Just kidding.
I mean, most of it.
I mean,
not
yeah,
from
kinda.
Himself, but definitely from like people he has.
I have a couple of people that I talk to, and I say, "Well, Joe said," and they immediately are like, "Stop talking." I'm like,
those
come
are
on.
people who don't listen to Joe
Right,
Rogan.
right.
So they don't
Those-
understand that he has like very high level people on.
That's the thing. People, whenever you say, "Oh, well, Joe," they'll immediately cut you off. But the thing is, Joe interviews professionals. It's not like Joe's just out here giving information.
Yeah, if you were like, I heard it on CNN, they would believe you, or like Fox or whatever. Instead, it's like, yeah, it's the same thing, except he's actually having like a quality conversation and not like a
he just
30-second.
He interviews the professional and then gives his opinion here and there.
Yeah,
so
that's what I like about him. It's like if somebody says something, he'll like say his opinion. To where sometimes it's like hard to do that, you know. It's like instead of just like going along with what they're saying.
Yeah, well, like he said recently, he was a very curious kid, and he still is a curious man. You know, it's good to ask questions, which is something that I never did in my life. It was always like so scary to ask a question in class, and you never want to raise your hand and ask a question. It'd be a stupid question. But looking back, I wish I would have raised my hand and asked those stupid questions because it probably would have made me more knowledgeable. Nowadays, I'm asking all kinds of questions because if I don't know, I don't know, and it's going to hurt me in the long run. So it's good to ask questions. I think Joe's platform's gotten so big that whatever he says is going to be taken way out of proportion nowadays. But I still feel like it's a good listen because he's very open-minded and he does give his opinion, and he has very knowledgeable people that sit across from him and, you know, state the facts. With that being said, I don't know.
The only thing I think is like, why do we let like the people that are running our world like run it when we have people, not saying Joe Rogan should run the world, but like Joe Rogan who are more open-minded, you know, like there's tons of people out there who are open-minded, but like he has so much power. Like he can literally talk to anyone in the world at any time, call them up, like have them on the podcast, whatever. Yet I'm not saying like he doesn't use his power for good, because I feel like he does, like a lot of good comes from it, but I feel like with what he has, he could like make so much of an impact that he doesn't like push for yet.
Yeah, I think it's a little more difficult because it's like, say you run for class president and you want to make the school lunch better like every class president ever did.
Yeah.
There's a lot of longer recess. There's a lot of hoops that you have to jump through to actually make that happen, and a lot of times it never happens. I mean, when was the school lunch ever changed?
Yeah.
You know? So I think what he's doing is really beneficial to the world, and just kind of, well,
dude, I had this thought. I had this thought like literally 2 days ago, and it's gonna sound like super crazy when I say it, but just think about my explanation. I think Joe Rogan is comparable to a modern day Jesus. Think about it like this: he has a huge platform. Like Jesus had a pretty decent platform for the time. He didn't.
Joe Rogan is Jesus.
But think
He's
about
the second coming.
Think about it like this: Joe Rogan has a huge platform. He talks to a lot of people. A lot of people listen to him, but also a lot of people hate him. A lot of people hated Jesus back in the day. But he talks to people that, you know, are on both sides. He talks to left and right and middle, and he talks to people like in different, you know, comedy and politics and all these different things. But then he inspires people to make their own podcasts. Like, he inspires people to go out there and talk about things. Kind of the same way Jesus was like, here's my 12 disciples. And now you have like all these people who are like speaking what their own kind of expertise is because of Joe Rogan, like Jocko and like Andrew Huberman and people like that who like are extremely knowledgeable and they have a ton to give. Like, they probably wouldn't have done that. I think actually Jocko started because of somebody else. I can't remember the dude's name now, but like, it certainly didn't hurt the fact that he was on Joe Rogan. Like, he just like gives people this power to go out there and like change the world, not because of like not him saying like go tell people what I'm saying, but like go tell people what you have to say, kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I can get where you're coming from there. Joe Rogan is Jesus. He's the second coming. I feel like yes, he does do all those things, but a lot of people do those things. So as far as like musicians, maybe movie stars or things like that, but like Tyler the Creator has been ranting, you know, for 10 plus years about go be what you want to be. Like, go do what you want to do. Don't listen to anybody, you know, follow your heart, do what you want to do, and just do it. The platforms, I don't know what the platform would be compared to those two, but they are very big stars in the industry. But yeah, he has inspired a lot of people, especially with the day and age coming in with the media and meta now thing. Podcasts are going to definitely become more and more, and it's going to be because of Joe Rogan. Yeah.
Well, I think he said something on his thing about like there's 2 million podcasts now, which if you think about like how many people there are, I guess 2 million. I don't know if that was like a whole number worldwide, but like that's a lot of that's like a lot of people talking and putting out content.
It is, but it's going to increase tremendously.
Definitely. I think it's definitely good, but at the same time, it's hard to find like. I think the reason Joe Rogan got so big is because he started early.
Joe will say it. He doesn't know what he's doing, and he'll tell you that. I don't even think he looks at any analytics. I think Jamie looks at all the analytics, but like Joe just goes on and bees himself because that's what he wants to do. He likes to do that, and that's probably why it works out so well. So, you know, when I heard this today or yesterday, but it's like when actually it was today. It was a Gary Vee title about. No, it might have been yesterday. But whenever you put like too much perfection into something, then you don't actually go do it. Right. So for me, I'm a perfectionist, and I'll think about it for a very long time about how it could be perfect, but then I'll never execute. So that's what it kind of boils down to. And Joe was just like, I'm going to do this thing, and here it is.
Yeah.
You're kind of the same way, though, because whenever I was trying to do things, trying to make them perfect, you were like, just put it out. Just put it online. Like, throw it up there.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, but it's not ready. It's not ready.
Yeah, that's very true, though. Like, it's tough because, like, especially somebody like you who knows how things can, like, sound better and look better and be better.
Yeah.
Like, I'm out here just like, I don't really know how to make things better, so I'm just like, all right, I guess this is as good as it gets. I hope I hope it sounds all right.
I hope you like it. Yeah, I try to mimic the highest of the highs. Whether I can do that or not, I don't know. But I like to take the Frank Abagnale Jr. approach and try to replicate everything to its greatest ability. So, but that can also be my downfall because I'll spend so much time trying to perfect that I won't actually do. It's funny because one of my old CIOs actually used to say perfect is the something of
Enemy.
of good. Yeah, perfect is the enemy of good or something like that. So where I was sitting there editing a video or working on a beat for the video or something like that, it was like, all right, we have this amount of time, perfect is the enemy of good. Just put it on, put it out. We'll get the next one.
Yeah.
So it's about putting it out there, and it's about staying consistent.
Staying consistent. That's actually it's like my 2021 goal was just basically that. I heard it actually because of my podcast. Somebody that I was talking to, they said that that was their thing. And I was like, no, that's actually perfect. And
yeah.
That's the only thing I think that matters. Like if you do, not necessarily the only thing, but like if you do decent to good work in whatever you're doing, and you do it for longer than anybody else, then you're obviously going to win.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of my philosophy, and it's actually something that Logic said way back in the day, was you can put as much time as you want into a person, into a human being, but you're never going to get that back from them. But if you put it into a craft or something that you like to do, then you're always going to get that back. So you could waste so many days, years with a human being, but you're not really doing what you want to do. And unless you focus on that craft, then you're not going to get that enjoyment back. So that's just something that I kind of live by. I struggle with it because I like to put time into humans.
Which I think is good.
Yeah, it is. It is good, but you can see just consistency and effort into a craft can get you many places. Anybody that came up overnight or made it happen overnight didn't make it happen overnight. Right. They've been at it for years, maybe quietly, but the consistency and the years of experience just finally led up to the point where they're at.
No such thing as overnight success. Unless you win the lottery. Then it's like, dang, I woke up.
I don't know. You might have played that lottery a lot.
That's true.
You might have manifested that lottery ticket. I was eating, or I had a little fortune cookie last night, and I had a pretty good fortune on it, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to go play these numbers. I didn't, but...
Then you won the lottery.
And then I won the lottery.
Surprise.
Yeah. Surprise.
I actually drove here in my new freaking...
No, my Tesla drove me here.
2050. But, yeah, the lottery's always been something to me. I don't get it.
It's for the poor.
It's a poor man's tax.
That's what Dave Ramsey says. Also, to sell your car.
See, the thing about the lottery is it actually is not true when they say somebody's got to win. Because if you don't pick the right numbers, if nobody picks the right numbers, then somebody does not have to win. Why does nobody get that?
I don't know. I've never played.
I've never played.
I've never even really gambled.
I've done some scratch offs, but like I've never actually bought one myself, to be honest. But
true.
I don't see the point in like. I mean, I can see maybe the point in like a little scratch off because like I don't know, it's the same thing. But like
I feel like the digital era that's coming on with Meta and everything and these NFTs, I feel like we're in like a gambling period because we're just gambling with our money.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes a lot deeper than that, but it's kind of, like stocks. Stocks have been around forever. Obviously, they're super popular right now in the younger generation. I don't really know why. It's almost like we're all living like the Wolf of Wall Street or something, and we're all stockbrokers. But everything just seems like a gamble, and we're out here just kind of having fun with it.
Yeah.
But it's a very interesting time period to watch how we can gamble. Yeah. So, with like NFTs and things like that, which I'm not too knowledgeable on them, but it's, a digital piece of art that people are selling for millions of dollars. I just keep seeing the CryptoPunks ones keep going up and up and up. And it's really strange that a JPEG is going for this amount of money. And what are you doing with that JPEG? Nothing, really. Yeah. Nothing yet. So,
is it part of Elon's scheme to like put us in this alternate dimension reality?
I don't think it's Elon's. I think it's more Mark Zuckerberg's, especially with Facebook becoming Meta. Elon's scheme is the Neuralink everybody and then kind of go to Mars.
Right. But is the Neuralink like somehow connected in with all this?
I don't know. I was kind of thinking about that because Gary Vee just interviewed Mark Zuckerberg today or recently and talked about Meta and the changes that are coming with that. It's probably all going to play a part with each other. It's just, it's living virtually, in a sense. It's living GTA life.
So do you think, I don't know, I've always been back and forth on like
whether you would go,
whether I even like
whether you would partake,
not so much partake, but whether I would want it to like even exist. Cause
well, it already exists.
But I mean, like as our only option, you know, like
I don't think it'd be our only option, or at least in our lifetime, we won't see it as our only option. If we do see it as our only option, then time is progressing. I mean, look at the time period of when we should have flying cars and hoverboards and things like that. None of that's really happening. I mean, electric cars aren't even that big. Yeah. If it wasn't for Elon and Tesla, then I don't know if anybody would really have the ideas or even be pursuing it. But then again, it is moving pretty quick and it is here. I talked with a couple people at the very start of this when I very first heard of it, which was probably about a year ago or more. And they were like, no, we won't really see any of that. And now that Meta is here and it is becoming a thing, it's just like, how do we go from there?
Just makes me want to like break it all and then go back to like
Joe was
caveman days.
Yeah, Joe was saying you could flip a switch and turn it off, or
that's
like
the whole thing.
Like if there was a power outage or something like that, then we're all screwed because we're
connected.
We're all in the metaverse and not in real life.
And how long? Like how many generations? Probably just one. Would we lose the skills of a modern human? Like we've already lost many. But like,
I don't even know if kids can write anymore.
But think about skills like, and I don't know how to do basically anything when it comes to like skills, but like plumbing or like.
Dude, I was thinking about my jumper though in the metaverse. I was thinking about it. You know how we used to have that little basketball game? My jumper is going to be nice.
Dude, mine's going to be, you thought I was good before. And you probably didn't think I was going to be good before. But like, weak. Think about it. If I go into this alternate dimension with perfect eyesight, like
that's true. That's true though.
25.
That is true.
Like I'm going to be.
But think about that. Think about that though. That could be good for you.
It could be.
That could be good. The metaverse could be good for you. This is where it's like Avatar.
If it truly
that
connects
dude can like walk,
to your
right?
brain.
I don't know if it's going to connect to the brain just yet.
But I think like.
Well, they bought Oculus or whatever, and that's where it kind of started, and that's what it's looking like right now. But I was mentioning it to a couple of people, and it was like, you don't really know. I mean, you kind of live through these games like Sims and GTA and anybody that plays Xbox Live or anything like that, and you live with those friends. But what if you could actually kind of like go and interact with them? Like, go give them a high five, or, I was like, what if you just sat around the table and got drunk with your friends in the metaverse? It'd probably be pretty funny. What if we were on this podcast in the metaverse?
What if we already are and we don't know it?
We probably are. Start glitching. But that's the thing is, I don't know if I would like submerge myself fully in it, but at the same time, it's very easy to adapt to things. It's like TikTok,
Here's the scary part about that. Who's controlling this? Who, you know what I'm saying? Who's controlling this thing?
I don't know.
If we fully submerge ourselves into this, somebody is on the outside controlling it, and they're basically saying like it may feel like you're choosing your life, but at the same time, like if it's really just a game per se, like they can take away everything just by like a flip of a freaking switch, basically from you, or they can give you something or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you no longer have any your creativity is limited to if that person wants you to have it.
You're saying like we won't be able to think for ourselves.
We will potentially, but we won't be able. It could be overridden by somebody else.
Well, the real question is when AI is going to be able to think for itself, because that's going to be a dangerous time.
I heard about, and this was also on Joe, but I heard about
facts.
Military things that can almost think for themselves, like that can shoot missiles and everything like that, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Why are we making the deadly things, make them think for themselves. Like, let's make maybe like a lamp think for itself or a refrigerator. You know,
I don't need my computer thinking for itself because I yell at it enough.
That's
Actually,
what people were saying about Siri. Like, people like really talk crap to Siri when their things don't
yeah,
work.
man.
And then all of a sudden, like,
I scream at my computer.
think about this. You have sensitive photos or information on your phone, and you get mad at Siri, and then suddenly Siri has control of your information, and she
Like
just leaks it
Gossip
out
Girl.
there.
Yeah, I mean, it's very true. I guess I need to start treating it as a frenemy and kind of keeping close watches on my computer. Might beat me up, but it'll be cool to see where it goes. I don't know if it'll be cool, but it'll be interesting to see where it goes in like a couple years.
Yeah. It's interesting to, like, when I listen to Elon talk, I really get excited about
Dude,
it.
I love listening to Elon talk. I will go back to that first Joe Rogan podcast and listen to him talking about digging that pit for the boring tunnel.
Yeah.
It's like, we
He was
dug
like,
a pit.
Yeah.
We have this pit.
The funniest thing
And
was,
that's
like,
it.
Joe was trying to be like, well, like, who told you could do it? Or, like, who, like, where did you? He was like, no, we just dug it.
Yeah, he's like, we dug this pit.
He just did
And it's
it.
here.
He was like, I don't really get what you're trying to say. He was like, no, like what government body did you go to like? He's like, no, like, we just dug it.
Yeah. It's like so simple. That's the thing is, like, I feel like the most complex things, and it's like Joe and his podcast, the most complex things aren't even thought through. It's like you just go, you do it, and you make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love listening to him talk about digging that pit. That's so funny. But he turned it into a tunnel.
Yeah. And then, but like, whenever I listen to him talk, I feel like super inspired, and I feel like he's the hero. But then whenever I don't listen to him for a while, it turns into me thinking like he's the villain, like, in disguise.
I don't know.
Can't you see it going both ways? Like, possibly. Can't you see him being either one?
I don't know. I kind of trust Elon.
But that's
that on
but that's
record.
a good villain, you know? That's
Yeah,
what a
it
good
is.
villain would do.
It is, but anybody that's like trying to better the world and actually make things happen, I feel like has a good perspective in a sense. I mean, I could get where it could be a really good villain story and we all fall to Elon, but I don't know. Nobody's ever thought, like, you hear history about Einstein and anyone that created something that is used in everyday life, and we don't really have that person, or at least we don't think that we do. But Elon is that guy. And I guess Mark Zuckerberg and a couple other people could be those people, but Elon is really that guy. He's trying to get us on Mars.
See, I feel like Bezos and Zuckerberg are the villains of it.
Yeah, I don't know. They're interesting people. I haven't really dove too much into them. I mean, I get that Bezos is Amazon and Zuckerberg is life because Facebook is life, or Meta, sorry. I don't know. I don't really put too much thought into it anymore because I've been on the internet for a really long time, and I've uploaded a lot of things to the internet that, you know, it's kind of fun to have things out on the internet because say you kept it as a physical copy, like a CD, say we uploaded this podcast to a CD and that's all we had it on, then you go looking for that CD and you lost that CD. Well, that podcast's gone.
Yeah. No,
so like now that it's out there on, you know, Spotify, Apple, subscribe, it's there forever in a sense, unless those platforms go down.
Yeah, that's what the crazy thing is. Like, it's like a living, what are those boxes called that you put stuff in and bury them? But it's
time capsule.
Yeah, it's like a time capsule.
Yeah.
And
I took a picture of my birthday during COVID at the heat of it, and I wanted to put that picture in a time capsule and bury it. Awesome. I never did that, but I need to.
Yeah.
Just for somebody to find one day.
That's genius. The only thing is, like, what if the people that find us or like find our stuff in like 10,000 years or 1,000 years, like, what if they don't have eyes and they can't see a picture, or they don't have ears anymore, or like they don't understand our language? Wouldn't that suck?
I'll 3D it. I'll put it in Braille.
Well, I think that might be more difficult.
I'll sculpt it out of clay. They don't have eyes.
You know?
What?
Well, think about, like, this is a theory that I really heard, recently, and I heard it and it made sense. But, like, what if aliens?
They have big eyes.
What if aliens, though, are just ourselves, like our humans coming back from the past, and like we've just evolved to look different because, like, we don't need certain.
Like, they are
things
actually
anymore.
us. Like, I'm an alien form out there.
maybe not you per se, but like it's
the human generation.
It's like the human race.
Or
but
race.
We've just evolved to be like.
Well, that's kind of that's what Joe talks about, how we're progressing into these singular, not species, but genders and things like that.
Like beige powers, Theo calls it. Like no
sure.
races.
Yeah, sure. Beige powers. Oh, I get it. Okay. Yeah, but basically we're forming into where we don't have any like genitalia or anything like that, and we are just beings. Kind of like, it reminds me of the Fairly Odd Parents episode where everybody turned into gray blobs.
Yeah.
And I think Timmy was still a human.
No, people have become like so, I'm the only one of my kind. Like, you know, like how everybody wants to be their own kind of like gender. Everybody wants to be their own kind of like thinker and in person and everything. We feel like hit like such this like critical mass on that I feel like it might turn back into the other way where we all are eventually just the same. Like we all look the same. I
don't know. I think history repeats itself, and it may just be a generational thing. Because I don't know. It's like when you have the older generation right now saying how they feel about something, whether it's right or wrong, but our perception of it is completely different. Well, the younger generation has a perception about something that's completely different. But then if we have kids and we raise them how we think, then that generation will be the way that we think. If that makes sense.
But at the same time, they'll be different, you know? Like they'll be...
Well, they should obviously think for themselves.
But they'll like definitely, like, they'll be part, like, they'll be like 50-50, you know?
Yeah,
it's
they
like,
could be 50-50, make
think
sure.
about like when you're a kid and you see your dad and like he's his own person. But then as you start getting older, like you become more like him. But then you also become less like him.
Right. Yeah, it really just depends. I don't know. I think people are just becoming whatever they think they should be, and it's just acceptable. It's not saying it's acceptable in a bad way, but it's acceptable, like it's more normal.
Right. Yeah.
There's nobody saying like you cannot do that.
Yeah. Which, you know, it's dangerous because you got to think about like
our taints are getting bigger, smaller.
Yeah.
That's what Joe says.
I actually started looking at like more glassware because of all that stuff. I didn't listen to the podcast yet.
Glassware.
That lady on it. Well, she was talking about how plastics like have ruined.
Yeah. No. I've known about that for a long time.
But I'm saying like, I haven't listened to that in depth, but like I've actually like,
no, I
got scared about it recently.
God, now you're gonna go to all glassware and you're gonna be a psychopath.
Exactly.
No, I actually knew about that a long time ago because it was weird because it came into play with like me being a chubbier child and having like we'll call it gyno. I was gonna say gynecomastia, but gyno. But there was something about, I can't remember if I read it or the doctor said it to me when I was a kid, but it was something about how plastics can play a part in development. So now that I've been hearing it too, they've been talking more about how plastics can play a part in decreasing testosterone and a couple other things. But what are we going to do about it? You not going to drink that water bottle or, that Gatorade? I don't know. I think it's more, it could potentially have an effect.
So this goes to like back to our other conversation of like, if we do like put ourselves in this alternate reality, this game style,
metaverse. If
we put ourselves in that, where do we sit as real humans and live? Like, are we just all in this one room where we're hooked up to like IVs so we can like still live, and then, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would say it's going to be a headset on, headset off type situation. But until we actually progress into the metaverse and fully submerged into where we're getting uploaded to servers and all that. But we don't know. That might actually happen. When you die, you don't know what happens.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've seen dead people, but we don't know where they went.
Yeah.
In a sense, we have a good thought and a belief of where they went. Like Lil Peep said, energy doesn't die, but we don't know what happens when those lights go out. So we could be getting uploaded to servers right now.
Yeah. I've been training with Qui-Gon, so I'm definitely going to come back as a Force Ghost.
You've been in the Force? That'd be sick. Yeah. I don't know. It's it'll be interesting. I do think that humans will probably develop differently as far as like a muscular. I mean, that's already been kind of like proven,
which is like makes me sad.
Well, yeah, but like you see it in younger kids though. Like we joke about like there's something in the McDonald's, but you know, some kids are like dunking at the age of 10 when during our period nobody was dunking at the age of 10. You couldn't even grab the net. Throw. Yeah, you couldn't. You were still playing on like 8.5.
Yeah,
they're dunking on like 12.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's weird because it's kind of like it's like up and down. It's like kids are developing faster and then they're not developing at all.
Yeah. Well, it's weird. It's like in a lot of kids, you know, you're seeing like obesity and diabetes and things, but then in other kids, you're seeing like huge like freak athletes and like high school kids that look like professional athletes. Like, it's just so weird. I don't really understand how that can happen. Like when they do this.
Something in the McDonald's.
One of those
steroids and macaroni.
One of those cows had mad cow, and the other one had freaking applesauce for lunch.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. It would have to be a deep dive into the foods that we eat, but then again, it could just be the time period.
I just don't know. I want to see like real life, you know? Like there's nothing better than like
we're in real life. What are you talking about?
I know, but I don't want to see like people not experience. Like I don't want to be.
You're gonna be dead. It doesn't matter.
No, I'm not. I don't think people understand. I tell people this. Like I don't unrealistically see myself living, unless I get hit by a bus or something. Like any younger than like 150.
What?
I'm gonna be 150 at least. I see people always laugh, but I'm just saying like. I don't care. Look.
You're saying 150 years old. What are you, in the Bible?
I'm about to be like Methuselah or whatever his name was.
More like Lazarus, because we're going to have to raise you up about 50 times.
No, think about it. Think about it.
I mean, I'm thinking about it, and I get where you're coming from, because I will not just laugh at you and leave it at that. We don't know. We don't. I mean, there may be something come out to where we can have.
No, I'm just saying natural skill.
All right, unless we start living God years again, then
not all natural. Here's something funny, or not funny. It's crazy. I heard today on a Joe podcast. In Korea, South and North, apparently, if you're born, you're 1 year old. Which I've always said that makes more sense than being 0. But here's the thing. If you're born, you're 1 year old on that day. And then on January 1st, you turn 2. No matter when your birthday was.
Yeah. That was the podcast with the girl, correct?
Yes, I'm just listening to that one. And it's
oh, really?
I've listened to people I've listened to podcasts with people from North Korea, but this one is the craziest.
Yeah, you're gonna really get into some sad and
kids getting rats and like catching with their hands and eating them, and then like
dude, the rats story was insane. The story about the guy that had his intestines out but was still begging for food. Yeah, very intense stuff.
What I mean, why do we even like? That's part of the whole like reason that I don't know if there's like any sense in us like going into
living
a metaverse.
150,
going into a metaverse.
Well, think
how easily they control us.
Okay.
Now.
Well, just think about, all right, say we're here. We have these microphones in front of us. You have that fancy board. But think about third world countries that don't have that.
Right.
So why are we progressing at this time? Other people aren't. There's that island that has those people that still, they have like national airports surrounding their island, but yet they don't know what a helicopter is or something like that.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting thing to me, but it just depends. Some people still haven't even progressed to a certain time period.
Right. But do you think those
Hollow Earth.
Do you think those people, their lives are definitely harder than ours, but also look at like how much mental health issues we have and how much physical health issues we have. Like, are we really happier because we have all this stuff, or are they at least just as happy as we are, if not happier with their total life?
I don't know.
Of course, they're going to struggle with things like, infections, and like you could die a lot easier, and you can't have, surgery and modern medicine and things like all those things are.
What if they're 150 in their heads?
What if they're actually 150 because they don't drink polluted water and they don't eat McDonald's and they don't fucking, like. I'm not saying they're actually 150, but like, I say they could definitely be. I mean, they're not sitting on the couch watching TV. They got to be up and doing something. Staying physical definitely keeps you in shape and keeps you healthier.
Well, staying active keeps you alive. That's why I have the shark on me, because what happens. Yeah, what happens to a shark when it's not swimming? It's dead. So, just to keep movement is always a good thing, because you hear about people that retire and then they start having all these issues. But then it's also a mental game too. If somebody finds out they have something wrong with them and people start treating them like they have that issue, then it all becomes a mental game.
Yeah. No, here's the thing. That's why when I went through school, I never maybe one time in high school, 0 times in college, and maybe a few times in grade school because my parents, but I never said anything like I can't see the board or I can't do this, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be not necessarily treated the same, but I wanted to know boom, I got through this shit like y'all did.
You just want to be equal in a sense.
I wanted to be in my own head know that I got through it like everybody else.
Yeah, it was for you. Yeah, I mean, I totally get that. I feel like anybody with a disability always wants to feel like they did it the normal way in a sense. So it's just that extra bit of drive, probably more drive than some of the people that didn't have to sit in the front of the class and look at that board, But yeah, I totally get that.
But yeah, I don't know. If we give power to the metaverse and we're sitting in there, what stops them from the only reason we have to really, and if you've listened to the North Korea episode, you have to really get this. The only reason we're not North Korea in this country is because of the people. It's not because of the government. It's because the people are no, we're not putting up with that. And that's all it takes, because we still have that will to be free, and we still have the knowledge of what it tastes like and it is to be free, and but if we're in this metaverse and they can control the weather, they can control how our arm moves.
Truman Show.
Yeah, but even on a larger scale, what keeps us from everybody being as controlled as North Korea?
What says we're not there?
I mean, I definitely know I'm not eating a rat.
I'm just kidding. No, I know you're not eating a rat. I mean, from a weather standpoint, but no, yeah, it totally makes sense, and people are, opinionated, I guess to say, or wouldn't let things happen, but it's like Hunger Games. Eventually, it dials down, and there's brutal force that comes behind it. Hopefully, we don't get to that point or past my time, but
that's the thing. I think it's inevitable for every civilization to face something like that. But I think it's just about how can we prolong it? And if each generation can try to prolong it, I think we can stop it from happening. But that's the thing. Every generation thinks they're safe. Nobody thinks it's going to be their time, It's the same thing with death. Nobody thinks about, I'm going to die when I get in this car today, but there's a good chance you might, or at least get, hurt.
Yeah. I think it kind of boils down to there's a saying that many people have said, but it's about living in fear, living with that stress, only put you through it twice before it actually happens.
Yeah.
So if we sit here and we live in the fear of waiting for that moment to happen, of where they do come in guns a-blazing to completely take us away, then we're just putting ourselves through it twice.
Yeah.
So we can either go out here and live our lives and be happy with what we accomplish, or we can just kind of sit back and wait for that moment.
Yeah, I think there's a balance too between enjoying and doing something too. you don't want to like, especially if you see an issue on the horizon, you still want to enjoy today, but you also want to prepare for that issue. Like doing something to make sure that issue is lessened, I think is important. And
well, it's like it's kind of like cleaning the oceans and things like that. Just to bring that up is like Mr. Beast is starting to do some really big things with cleaning the oceans and planting trees and things like that. But it's about we know it's there, but nobody's being proactive. It's like Elon wanting to go to Mars. We know it's a possibility, but nobody was being proactive to actually take us to Mars. We're going to Mars so that we can establish, life on Mars, because planet Earth is going to eventually crumble.
But do you think we deserve? That's a big question, I think. Do we deserve Mars? Like, do we deserve to ruin another planet? Like, think about it from the perspective. You've seen Transformers, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Well, the bad robots come to each planet and like suck all the energy out, and then they leave. Right. That's like what we're doing. Like, we're the bad robots, but we always think like we're the good guys. But are we really?
I mean, it depends. I liked when lockdown happened, in a sense, even though I didn't personally feel like anything changed, because if anything, my job became harder because I was preparing everybody from work from home, and I was still going into office. So nothing really changed with my life. I never got that break. I never got to sit back and be like, something is going on. I did come home every day and turn on the governor and listen to that. But nothing really changed for me. But what I wanted to happen during this time period was to come back out into a different space. So if your city was dirty, maybe it would be clean. And in a sense it did. There's a guy I watch on YouTube. He's actually kind of blown up on TikTok a little bit. His name's Brody. He's in Australia. But he creates vlogs of camping and things like that, where he goes out into the ocean and fishes and all kinds of stuff. But basically, he went out on his jet ski during lockdown and showed like the wildlife, like what the ocean was doing, and it was just thriving. Like, it was crazy, because he films off of a GoPro, and GoPros are good quality and all that, but we all know we buy a GoPro to have the same quality as we see on the GoPro commercial, and it never happens. But you could see the animals were just so happy. I mean, it's like when I returned to the lake, the very first weekend that we could like go outside and go to the lake, there were so many turtles just out and about, and like the fish were thriving. I've never caught so much fish ever. And the turtles, it was like the wildlife was happy. It's like they had their space back. So I don't know. It just kind of, it deals with population and just people not being aware of what they're doing. If you tell me that if you tell me by buying a new iPhone takes away that natural gas or whatever it is that sits behind the screen and makes me be able to touch it, then I wouldn't really know not to keep buying new iPhones every time a new one comes out every year, which I don't. But it's that type of thing. It's like recycling,
Yeah.
People are like, why do they want to take my phone? Well, they want to reuse those natural gases, and they want to take all your information. But not actually. I don't know. But it's things like that where people don't know. They may be ignorant to it. They may not be. They may just not know. But it's like anything else. If you don't put it out there and let the people know, then we're just in the blind.
Makes you think, like, kind of going back to this metaverse thing, like if we put ourselves in that, what would nature actually do on the other side of that? Like, would there be... We
would just revert back to old times. Dinosaurs would come back up out of the soil, and it would go right back to where it was.
Oh, God.
Woolly mammoth would come out of the trees. Ice Age would happen. Pangea would be back. I think the biggest question is, when are dogs going to talk,
Dude, that thing about the dogs on that North Korea episode. Remember that?
What were they saying about the dogs?
Where during, like, it wasn't because of COVID, but during, like, quarantine and everything, the government took everybody's dog and killed it. And, like,
oh, yeah.
Apparently it was for the meat.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I remember that. That was brutal. That's the thing with everybody with dogs is like if lockdown happens or if recession hits or something like that, it's like, how am I going to feed my dog? You know, everybody's always like, how am I going to do this for my dog?
Yeah. Like, how's my dog going to feed me?
Yeah. Like, your dog's an animal. It could probably survive better than you can.
Yeah.
It knows to go kill. Now can you go kill animals? Or, you know, or feed off plants and things. I don't know. I don't want to get into the whole
vegan
PETA.
carnivore.
Yeah, I don't want to get into that conversation.
Oh yeah. Wonder what these athletes are going to start doing when people start living in the metaverse. You know,
I told you my jumper is going to be nice.
Like
I'm going to be an athlete.
Like think about like
you're going to be
Zion.
watching me play.
Nah.
Yeah, Zion already living in the metaverse. Have you seen that man?
No.
He looks like he's been sitting on the couch playing 2K. He's gained a little bit of weight from injury, I think, and everybody's talking about it. I don't care. He's always been heavy.
Yeah.
You know? If he still has the bounce, then what's it matter?
Yeah. I mean, if
The only thing he's going to be is stronger.
like if you can play to the best of your ability for like 7 years, then I think, in my opinion, do it. Don't diminish your ability to play for like 15 years.
Yeah. I feel like the only reason that Bron's still playing is so when Bronny gets into the league, it can be the first father-son duo.
Like a King Griffey.
That's what I feel like it is. Other than that, I mean, Bron still plays at a very high caliber, but if you watch him play and you see the way he doesn't get back on defense and things like that, it's just frustrating to watch, honestly.
Yeah. Do you think he still has it? Like, from that perspective of actually consistently doing it?
Unpopular opinion, but I don't think Bron ever really had it.
On the defensive end, or like what? What do you mean?
The whole thing. I mean, he don't get me wrong. I'm not going to play LeBron in one-on-one and win, but it's just there is no comparison between him and Mike or even him and Kobe. It's 1, 2, 3, if anything.
Yeah,
Mike, Kobe, Bron. If Bron even sits at that spot. People ask me who I would put in a one-on-one game. Who would you put in a one-on-one game if you had to pick any player from the league?
To go against Michael?
No, just to go one-on-one with somebody.
Like two players to go one-on-one?
No, just pick who.
Who I would go. Like who I would play
Yeah,
against.
if you had to put money on somebody, if you were like, I need this player. No. Say you got to pick a player to play one-on-one for you.
Okay. Who are they playing?
This is your player.
Okay.
They're playing whoever.
Okay, so just
they can play a tournament.
Player.
Yes. Who is your best one-on-one player in the league?
I know who my answer is going to be, and we talked about him already.
KD, I already know.
It's going to be KD, but here's why. Because he has the shooting ability, he has the length, and he has, I don't know how good he is on defense nowadays, but like he was really getting good on defense. Like I think if he really pushed himself, he could be a good one-on-one defender in that situation.
No doubt.
But he's also frail. Like he doesn't have a lot of body mass.
Ask me who mine is.
Here's my second pick real quick.
All right, go ahead.
In his prime, Lamarcus Aldridge.
What? Lamarcus Aldridge.
Yeah. He's a good shooter. He's not, I don't know how well he can like handle the ball per se.
Lamarcus Aldridge?
Yes.
Why?
Because he's like a KD but bigger. Like a bigger person.
Lamarcus Aldridge barely had a team to play for the past couple of years.
But I'm saying in his prime, whenever he was playing.
Yeah, let's just pick Baby Shaq. You want a big baby to come back and play one-on-one for you? He'd actually probably do a pretty good job.
Nah, I'm saying Lamarcus Aldridge is like a solid. Okay, actually, let me take all these back.
Lamarcus Aldridge.
I forgot about Kawhi.
I'm blown away by that. Yeah, Kawhi, obviously.
Yeah, I forgot about him. He's like the better version of KD. Like maybe not the better version, but he's like the thicker, more durable version. Maybe.
I didn't even know you liked Lamarcus Aldridge.
Yeah.
What, do you have a poster of him somewhere? Back in the day, when? When did he play for who?
Portland. Before with Dame.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like, he could hit some shots.
I mean, he was good. That's where he was best at. And then he got traded to the Spurs, and now he's...
I don't even know where he is now.
I don't want to say he's on the Lakers, but he's somewhere. Lamarcus Aldridge. Wow.
I mean, if I'm talking about current day players to play current day players, like in their prime, like everybody in their prime, I mean, he wouldn't be a terrible.
Sure.
Who'd you got, Kevin Love?
No. Jimmy Butler. That man is not going to lose.
See, I don't know.
Not going to lose.
I would take, you know who I'd take over Jimmy Butler?
Who?
Damian Lillard.
All right, Dame's not going to lose either, but Jimmy Butler's going to talk.
They're kind of the same player, honestly.
They kind of are. I feel like Jimmy's a little more aggressive on the trash talk, but Jimmy's just not going to lose. He has that drive in him, and he's going to talk.
But the thing is, like, I don't know if he does. If he gets down, though. If he gets down, is he gonna fold?
We're not talking about Kyrie Irving. We're talking about Jimmy Butler. Okay?
This is true.
Jimmy Butler's not going to fold. You saw what he did last year in the playoffs. He put it on the line. That's what Jimmy's going to do. He'll play with his left hand if he has to. He actually played Kevin Hart, I think, and beat him with his left hand.
That's good.
Yeah, that wouldn't be too hard, but I'll play Kevin Hart. I'll play a lot of people.
Big no.
And people always say that. Yeah. People always say they would play somebody one-on-one, but I would like to play somebody one-on-one.
Be like, what's his name? Lil Bow Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like some people just, until I played them, then couldn't justify.
Well, the thing is, like, if you actually trained, like, if you got quick,
right?
If
I like Jake Paul'd the situation and put money and time and effort into it,
because like you have the natural skills, you just don't have the practice to go along with that.
Yeah, but I can't just show up and play them real quick
because they've been practicing nonstop.
I mean, that's all they do.
Yeah,
they throw a ball through a circular.
Dude, I still have that video of you shooting from behind the goal, super high through the trees, and it going in.
I knew it was in before I left my hands.
That was the craziest shot.
I actually haven't shot a ball in a long time. I need to get back at it. But it's something that I can't lose. I feel like it's just embedded in my muscle memory, in my mind. I like to think back at my younger days and when I actually did hit big shots in like grade school games and stuff like that, which that sounds stupid, but there are very specific times I can remember of hitting shots, and it was like, it was just crazy. It's weird to think that at that age, I knew it was in. When I was coming off the pick and coming around to catch and shoot, I knew it was going in before I even shot it. So it's also crazy to think that, you know, like your coaches, which was my dad, put the trust in me to hit that shot. You're like, all right, 10-year-old son, we're going to draw this play, but you're going to come around this double screen and you're going to hit this shot. I'll never forget when it was a fourth grade game, I think, because we were still playing on 8-5, and we were down like 20 points at halftime or something, which is a lot when you're in fourth grade.
Yeah.
You know, nobody thinks any fourth grade team's going to come back. But people were actually starting to leave the stands, and we made the comeback, and it came down to 2 free throws, and they were my free throws. And my dad pulled me over to the side, and somebody that I looked up to at the time was J.J. Redick. And my dad just looks at me, he goes, JJ, hit these free throws. I was like, I'm going to hit these free throws.
That's funny.
Went out there and hit those free throws.
Dang. JJ Redick.
JJ Redick. Also, probably third greatest shooter. Definitely college #1 greatest shooter of all time. It's hard to say that as a Kentucky fan, but JJ was the man.
I'm trying to think of any, like, a second place. It's hard to think about college shooters as much because...
Jimmer Fredette.
Oh, yeah. Dude, he might be one.
He's not one.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Dude.
JJ for sure.
The dude literally, I mean, he scored like 60
on
a
but
nightly basis.
JJ.
I don't know, dude.
JJ was a great
shooter. Do you remember how crazy that was, though?
Jimmer was pretty crazy. Jimmer still deserves NBA status. He gets like 10 days here and there, but he never stays on the team. I feel like Jello could do well in the league. We saw what he did in G League and what he's doing in G League, or in Summer League and then to G League, but it's a different level. Yeah. That's why me saying I want to play someone one-on-one is hilarious. All right, is there anything else you want to touch base on? We've been going at this for an hour and a half. Did we even talk about what we wanted to talk about?
Not really, but I just want to say...
Okay, here we go.
I just want to say this real quick. Oh, God. It's a good episode. But we need to push Collin to put out his own podcast. Get on the ball.
Yeah.
No more excuses.
No more.
We talked about at the beginning perfection, but guess what? Doesn't matter. Just put it out there.
Put it out there. Get on the internet. I just need to get it together.
Dude.
It should be soon.
When Monday came around, you're like, I'm dropping it Monday. And when Monday morning came, I was like,
you're more excited about it than me.
oh, I'm really excited.
I know you are. I feel like anything I've ever put out, you've been the most supportive. And like you used to wake up to like drowning.
Yes, that was not like alarm clock.
I was like, what?
Dude, that's a great song. I mean, there's no
the verse on it is definitely something before its time.
Oh yeah,
the things that I said within that verse. When I go back and listen to it, were actually really, really thought out.
I'm going to make that my new outro music.
I still have kids come up to me and ask about the juice.
Yeah.
It's pretty weird.
Dude,
it's pretty crazy.
That would be fire intro music, actually.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm going to have to get the copyright on that and pay some royalties.
There you go. As long as I get a little check out of it. A little cash.
You're looking for a check.
Looking for a check. But yeah, it'll be out soon. We're shooting for next week.
Talking about
I don't know when this is coming out, but I would plug myself, but I don't want to let anybody down.
Well,
just kidding. November 15th, Lone Valley Podcast, aka the LVP, hosted by yours truly, Collin Rogers, where we explore art, music, sports, and a little bit of everything. Spotify, Apple, all these places. Meet me in the metaverse. We can have some wine.
There you go. And as soon as it comes out, you can find the link to the podcast on the podcast description of this podcast.
Facts.
I'm looking forward to it. Because I know it's going to be artful, you know. I know it's going to be a production. And I just can't wait to,
It's going to be something.
Sink my ears into it.
We'll see what I can ramble about.
Sort of like this.
Pretty much. It's always good conversation. Next time we'll have to take some proper 12 shots.
January 1st. Actually 2nd. It's my last day of 75 Hard.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. 2022.
2022.
Wow.
You better be like 8 episodes in by then.
2022. I can't do that math, but I'll be somewhere.
It's pretty close. Maybe like 6. I think like 6, actually. 4 in December, 2 in November.
It'd be 6.
Yeah.
I'll have to figure something out. I know what a good one for 6 would be.
Oh, yeah.
6.
Anyway, that's it. Have a good time. Drink some red wine. We're dropping bars all the time.
Hey, feeling fine. Yeah.
Let's see if this still works. Okay, no, I was thinking for some reason it was going to be a rap beat, but this is not.
I wish it was a hip hop beat.
So I guess we're just going to go out to some like rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Let's go to the tones. There we go. Take us out. Take us away.
That's it. We're out.
All right. Bet. Eat your heart out.